I want to ask you about something else that you guys are working on, which is equally important to a lot of women on the younger side, though. Now we're moving from like the 50 and 60 set down to the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And that is women who take antidepressants, SSRIs, while pregnant. You guys are about to have a panel on that. Why? What's the concern?
Yeah, look, we've been busy at the FDA. On Monday, we're going to have a panel on SSRIs and pregnancy. Almost a quarter of middle-aged women in the United States take an antidepressant, and many of them take it right through pregnancy. About 5% of pregnant women roughly are taking an SSRI, one of the types of antidepressants, even though one of the antidepressants has been identified by the FDA to potentially be associated with birth defects. And there are also concerns about harm to the mother. So we need to get the experts in the room, get this straight. Again, update the labels if we need to do that. Do whatever we can to try to address this, because we don't want to see birth defects that are entirely avoidable if people would have had the right information.
That's terrifying. I don't think most people know that if they're on antidepressants and they're taking them while pregnant, you could be leading to a birth defect situation for your child. Why isn't that a black box warning?
So it is on the label of one antidepressant. And so should it be on the label of more, even if we don't have data? Should we err on the side of safety? That's exactly why we're convening experts on Monday. And look, we just can't. Some people say, look, you should do a 6-month review and go through the normal government FACA process, which is a long bureaucratic process to convene experts. We're just inviting them in, state their disclosures, and talk passionately about these issues on which they are experts. We cannot, work at government speed. We have to work at real person speed.
So how do you do that? Because I played that Joanne Pinkerton, she's a doctor, sought about, please, for the love of God, get rid of the black box label. I mean, you're FDA commissioner, so can you just do that? Or what does that process look like?
Yeah, so the process is that we ask the company for a label change if there's label changes with anything, and we're doing this right now with OxyContin. That label change does not match the data, believe it or not.
Even after all the lawsuits against the Sacklers and all that?
They made one small modification, but it's not good enough. That drug was approved for chronic pain on the label based on a 14-day study. So look, like I said, we're busy. We're looking at that. And what we do is the process is we tell the companies we'd like to see this change, and we propose the change. And then so it takes a couple months, sometimes 6 months. But we want, in the meantime, to let the experts have a platform to talk about these issues from both sides of the issue. I believe in a civil discourse, and we should have people who are pro and against come and hash it out. That's exactly what science is. And honestly, we didn't see a lot of that during COVID, right? It was more a homogeneous group of like-minded friends that were gathering and all put a rubber stamp on COVID vaccine boosters for 17-year-old boys. We need a civil discourse if we're going to win back public trust. That's what we're doing at the FDA, at the NIH, at CMS, and this is the charge we have for radical transparency and restoring gold standard science.
I have to ask you a question in a second about Francis Collins. That's coming. But can I just double back to something you said about Chinese gene therapy, where people are sending their cells over to China, and you're stopping this? But what was going on there?
Yeah, the companies who were offering a gene editing sort of therapy for individuals, something called CAR T therapy, they were drawing the blood cells of Americans in the United States, then shipping them off to outsource the gene editing to labs in China. This is all recent. It was just approved in the last administration. And then they're shipped back to infuse into Americans. And I thought, oh my God, do people not understand the potential national security risk? And I wonder if these patients were even informed what's going on. Were they just told, hey, we're going to do this therapy, we're going to draw your blood? Did they even really understand what was happening?
Holy cow. I didn't even consider that national security risk. Like, what are the Chinese putting in there?
They could. It's possible.
Since President Trump was sworn in, his administration has made enormous progress at a breakneck pace. But don't forget, while they're moving mountains for the good of the nation, you've got your own personal savings to worry about. And one of the best ways to look after your savings is through diversification, particularly with gold, like from Birch Gold Group. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 40%. OMG. Central banks continue to bolster demand for gold by buying in record quantities. Global instability and tension is high, and Birch Gold makes owning physical gold extremely easy. Easily convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or buy some to store in your home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898 and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of your savings today. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.